Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'll be talking about my experience with Uma Musume Pretty Derby after playing it for 2 months. This is gonna be a shorter video than the previous Uma Musume video that I did, which was the epithet tier list, so you can rest assured that you're not gonna hear me yapping for 1 hour. Before I talk about the game, I want to briefly touch on the franchise and how I felt about it. I love the anime seasons. All season 1, 2 and 3 were pretty good to me. I like Special Week, I like Majiro McQueen, I like Kita-san Black, and most of the Umas, to be honest, because they are all very unique in their own very personalities. And the storyline is actually pretty good for all 3 seasons. And for Cinderella Grey, I've watched the movie and I love it and I can't wait for the second movie to come out. My favorite Uma is Nice Nature. Alright, without further ado, I'm going to talk about the game itself. I first started playing Uma Musume Pretty Derby on July 1st, 2025. At the time of this recording, I have played it for over 2 months and a few days, probably. Off the top of my head, I have about 500 plus career finishes and I have good endings for all my Umas, which is a combined total of 25. I have about 23 out of 25 character specific epithets, and my archive level is about level 60 plus. For my honest opinion on the game currently, I do enjoy playing the game. I think it is a fresh take on strategizing, and the fact that I get to train Umas, it's like a pretty new concept. I mean, of course there will be some games where you have to train things to become stronger, like Star Wars, you have to level up characters and light cones to make it better. But this is kind of like completely something unique that I haven't seen in much games, and I think that's what really got me into the game. The one thing in this game that stood out to me from the rest is the raffle ticket event, because I've never seen any other games in my gaming knowledge so far that has this kind of thing where it's based on literal luck to see what you get. So if you played this game before, you know that in senior year late gen there will be this raffle ticket event where you can get a prize. So there's consolation, third, second, first and grand. The grand prize being the hot springs ticket, which is there will be an extra cutscene for the hot springs ticket should you win the career for your Uma. So I think that's pretty interesting and very unique. If you glance through my channel and took a look at the first few videos that I've posted for Uma Musume, you will have known that I was struggling to even finish a career. I kept losing over and over and over again, especially with Rice Shower and Nice Nature. Well, at that time, I thought every Uma was like equal standings, and there's none that is like more difficult or less difficult. But then I soon come to realize that Rice Shower is one of the most hardest Umas to train. I had to play the game continuously to try and understand the mechanics, and kind of like a whole month to understand with help from friends offline and online, as well as see some online guides and from Discord servers. And of course, to this day, I am still learning how to try and make the best ace Uma that I could. I'm not really an expert at this game, but I think I'm getting better and better each day, so I think that's a step forward, and it's a really good step forward. I want to thank every person who has helped me along the way understanding this game, its mechanics, and everything about it. It definitely takes some time to get used to the game mechanics, but once you get the hang of it, it'll be much easier for you and you'll definitely enjoy playing it more, which I did. For example, it is ingrained in my brain that long G1 racers need at least 400 stamina with a recovery skill, preferably gold, like cooldown or swinging maestro, or else you need to have about a high 500 to low 600 stamina in order for you to win the G1 race. Game Tawa is an extremely helpful tool, especially its training event helper feature. That feature tells you what you can get from selecting each choice, so it's easier for you to do a run should you want to build an ace. Now that I look back at my first few videos of Uma Musume, when I started looking at my Rice Shower stats in I think the third video for Uma Musume that I posted, I was shocked by the stats that I had for Rice Shower, because at that time I don't know. But right now when I'm looking at it, I realize, yeah, definitely I will lose with those stats. Because I know back then I wanted to just balance the stats, because I thought balancing the stats would really help me to win the career or win a race, but that's not the case. Now, I know a lot of people are wondering, is Uma Musume a free-to-play or a pay-to-win game? Well, in my opinion, I think it is a pretty pay-to-win game, honestly, although you can definitely play it free-to-play. I know a friend who plays this game too, and he's completely free to play. He hasn't spent a single dime on this game, so it is definitely possible to play free to play. The reason why I say that it is pretty pay to win is because you need good support cards in order for you to actually get a very good run. And where do you get these cards from? The gacha. I think another pay to win feature is Champions Meeting. I'm sure most of you know what Champion Meeting is, but for those who don't know, it is a tournament-like race that happens every once per few weeks, and it's sort of like a competition where you have to race against other players' Umas. Only the strongest Umas can get the highest rewards possible. That mode opened my eyes, because it was the first time I was seeing strong Goshis or Umas in general that have both SS plus on speed and stamina, while also keeping other decent stats. That isn't completely on the support cards alone, it also consists of luck to get the friendship trading. But still, max limit break support cards can definitely bring your Uma stats up, can make it a powerful Uma to be raced against. With my luck and my measly support cards, I could only get a 970 speed and a 1170 stam. And of course, I wasn't really that strong in Taurus Cup either, so I ended up in Group B finals. It was a miracle that I managed to win first place in those finals. I have no idea how, but I assure you it's just luck. Overall though, I still love this game, and I find this game very fun to play, and I won't see myself dropping this game for the next few months. However, there are always two sides to the coin. While I love the game a lot, I also have gripes about it. I have three main problems in the game and the game community. The first problem I have is within the game. It is its poor gacha rates. Man oh man, the gacha rates in this game are ass. They're so bad. I don't know what rates there are, but I know the rates stated on the notice are scams. Ain't no way that the rates stated on these notices are the actual ones in the gacha rates. There is no way. I put in Uma banners and support card banners too. For example, the recent wedding Mayano Top Gun banner. I wanted to get Mayano Top Gun, right? And I heard that they had a rate up for the event character. I cannot exactly remember the rate, but it was like 0.75, 0.6, somewhere there. But let me tell you that I spent 60 pools on that banner and I didn't get a single 3-star. Yeah, rate up my ass. That shit is definitely a lie. You're telling me I put 60 times and I didn't get a 3-star? None. You could tell me that if I did 60 solo pools, yeah, right, then I wouldn't be able to get a 3-star because it's just a solo pool, and the solo pool chances of getting a 3-star is super low. That one I get it. But I did multi-pools. I did the 10 pool. So 6 times of 10 pools, and I got no 3-stars. Not even a single Mayano Top Gun wedding or a wedding air groove. Instead, they keep giving me like Bakushin, King Halo, that kind of 1-star characters, and I'm like, yeah, right, the gacha rates are totally rate up, man. And man, the Kita-san Black incident, holy damn. Originally, I had recorded a video for my Kita-san Black support card pools because I wanted to get Kita-san Black, so I thought it would be a good video to record for the gacha. But then, it was a pretty fast video because I just kept skipping the pools after like 6 or 7 multi-pools, because all I've gotten thus far was SRs and Rs, and it was like those like minimum PT pools, like 1 SR 9 Rs, which was like, wow, that's crazy, right? So I had to keep skipping and skipping and skipping. And although I got like 4 SSRs, which included Silent Suzuka, Nishino Flower, Vodka, and Oguri Cap. I think these were the few SSRs I got, but not a single Kita-san Black or Saturno Diamond. That's crazy, right? You think it's rate up, they're gonna come. No, they aren't. I did 10 pulls, which was the spark, right? And not one of them was Kita-san Black or Saturno Diamond at all. So rate up is a fucking lie in this game. Really bad. I had to spark for Kita-san Black. That's how you know the game gacha rates are shit. Okay? This is the one point and the one like opinion that I would die on. This game's gacha rates are ass. Like, I know FGO has also a horrible gacha rate. So this Uma Musume could compete with FGO because, man, both the gacha rates are just fucking shit. Now, before I start on the next two sections, I just want everyone to know that I do not harbor any hate towards these content creators, and it's all love. I just want to express and state my opinions. That's all. The next gripe I have is something to do with the community, which is most online guides try to tell you that you're playing it wrong and you shouldn't really focus on Kita-san Black support card and the other stuff, you know, like they're saying, oh, don't care about the meta, you know, it's not really worth it, that kind of thing. And then after that, they hit you with the MLB support card deck, including Kita-san MLB. I mean, in my opinion, Kita-san Black is by no means a necessary card to own, but it is a goddamn good one to have. It has a good goal skill, which is the Professor of Curvature. It has good specialty priority, you know. Specialty priority is a very important stat because, you know, it determines where the friendship training is gonna end up in, right? So Kita-san Black has like a high chance to appear in speed, and if you increase her bond to the orange level, you'll get her friendship training most of the time, which increases your speed huge, very huge, because her training effectiveness is also increased, right? So it is a very good speed card all around, but not necessary. Back to the topic, I feel that you can't make a guide stating, you know, you don't have to concentrate on the meta, you don't need to have Kita-san Black, you know, you're playing it wrong, that kind of thing, and then come up with a deck that most players can't even follow because they're all max limit break, and that only comes from where? Cashing in the game, right? Or unless they swap their cards. Now, disclaimer, it is not anyone's fault that, you know, these creators or these guide makers spend money on the game, because if they love it, you know, who am I to judge, or who is anyone to judge? Like, if you enjoy spending on the game and it makes you happy, then of course go for it. I mean, it's good for you, right? You're also supporting the game, which is fantastic because this game just started out, and obviously to make this game run for the next few years, we want to have more monetary support for the game, right? But I hope these creators like don't expect most people to have the same cards at the same limit break that they have, because people looking for guides aren't usually people who are like you know, very into the game already. They're usually players who are like struggling at a certain point of the game, who are really aren't that good at the game yet, you know. And one reason why they aren't doing very well in the game is because they don't have that many good support cards at max limit break. When I made my epithet video guide, I didn't use a lot of overpowered support cards to get the epithets too. Like, you know, my Kita-san Black, like I said earlier, I had to get a copy from Spark, which is LB0. And then my super quick max limit break is borrowed from a friend. And most of my cards are either 0 or 1 limit break, except my weak cards, which were MLB. I mean, you can probably get SR MLBs if you really just went all out on the Kita-san card banner, you know. I assume most people did, because at that point of time when the banner came out, everyone, including JP players, were telling people to pull for this banner and like Spark to get the card at the very least. So, you know, of course there are like those tough to get epithets like Special Week or McQueen or Narita Taishin that requires good cards. But as I said in the epithet video, you don't have to get the epithet because epithets aren't necessary to get in the game. They're just for showing off. you can still enjoy the game and finish a career without getting the specific epithet. All in all, what I'm trying to say is that I've come across some guide videos that have this notion of the game's not that hard, and then they have the max limit break deck, which obviously it wouldn't be hard because you really have good cards and you might have cashed or lucked out. But not everyone's like spending money on this game, or not everyone is as lucky. My third gripe is that I'm also not a fan of guides that yap a bit too much. Well, I know of course you need to explain some parts of the game as detailed as possible so it's easier to understand, but sometimes a lot of details can really be very confusing instead of helping. For example, there was this one time where I wanted to know what friendship training and mood effect on the support card means. So I went to look up on videos of that. There was this one video that I'm not going to name. He yapped so much about friendship training, it got me more confused. Like, he didn't mention the point at all. He just explained that friendship training is just the colorful things that appear on the stat training, and that's all. And then he never explained more. Instead, he went on about the Umas that needed to be used and the support cards that needed to be used, and it got me more confused than ever. I had to look up another video from someone else, and they told me like in 5 seconds. They just told me like what 25% friendship training means. It just means 1.25, that kind of thing, which made it easier to understand, I appreciate the sentiment of guides. I know these content creators or the people who make these guides made it in good faith. Of course, some difficult parts of the game do need good support card and skills, which is why they're difficult, and definitely people will need some help in that. That's completely normal. But I just hope that they take into consideration about the new players or even players who are facing a certain difficulty in the game and do not have some specific support cards, or they do not have it at the max limit break. After 2 months of playing this game, I realized one prominent thing. Uma Musume is a RNG game. You could be having a good run when out of a sudden from nowhere Slacker hits you, or you get like 3 mood down events in a row. You can even fail training at 1%. Now how ridiculous is that? That didn't happen to me before, but I failed it at 2%, so it's not that far of a difference. Even worse, sometimes the friendship training just doesn't appear wherever you want it to appear. For instance, let's say you train your Kita-san Black to orange friendship, which means that there is now a chance for her to do friendship training. She appears in guts or wit instead of speed, which it's horrible and it's definitely not good for your training. But this is RNG completely, and like I said earlier, even when Kita-san Black has the high specialty priority, it still can end up somewhere else, which is definitely not good for training. That is completely 100% RNG. As well as the raffle ticket event I mentioned way earlier in the video, that is also completely RNG. You can have the best support cards, max limit break, and the strongest Umas in the game, and still get fucked by the game because of RNG. You can have decent stats before you go for a race. However, as someone once said, once you're blocked, you're blocked. And that is also completely up to RNG. If you get stuck behind an Uma and not get out in like a good 10 to 20 seconds, you're completely fucked. You're not gonna get first. That might ruin your run too. Even the gacha raids are not gacha raids. You have to pray to get the Uma or the support card that you want. This game heavily relies on RNG. You could have the best ace run with a lot of wins, a lot of skills, and good stats. Or you can have the worst abominations of runs, where you lose a lot of races, you didn't meet your fan count, and you lose the career. Despite this, I think that the game overall is a very fun and great game. The mechanics are very special, at least to me, and that's what kept me hooked. The stories in this game are also pretty good too, so I do suggest to read them should you have the free time. I also enjoy the part where I get to see my favorite Uma race and cheer for them to win. I really love this game, and I hope that this game can last for the years to come. With that, thank you for watching the video, and I hope you have a nice day or night ahead.